we came up with a 10 workshop series that we're starting today. So we're going to do a series of 10 workshops all on the topic of essentially how to do more with less stress for moms. Like, how do you accomplish more, get more done, and be less overwhelmed, less burnt out? And we're going to specifically so for the next 10 weeks, talk about a different aspect of that. And then dive in deep to it each week.
Allow yourself to be crazy excited. This is going to be amazing.
Because Greg has started doing something very similar with the men's group, and they have been loving it. So we're obviously like, well, what are we doing? Let's do it in the women's group too. Today, we're beginning with the first topic in this series related to the idea of doing more with less stress. And specifically, we're going to be addressing a myth of sorts that when we think about doing more, and I know that this is natural for me. I mean, I used to think like this, and I think it's just, kind of how we're raised in our society. We think about doing more means managing our time. But I know for me, I was finally able to accomplish that idea of doing more when I focused not on managing my time, but on managing my energy levels. Okay. It's a very different mind shift. If you learn to manage energy instead of managing time, you will have more time, even though that's not really true because we all have the same time. What you really have is more energy to do more things. Because one of the biggest problems that you may not fully realize, because I know I didn't, the reason we can't do more is because we don't have the energy to do more. It's not because we don't have the time. That's often what we tell ourselves. We're like, oh, I don't have time. No, really, you don't have energy. That's often what's happening. You are running out of energy before you're running out of time. Okay. So
A easy way to understand this is, you guys know this already because we all do it. Like, you approach a task, you have this task, but one day you have massive amounts of energy and clarity and you're just on fire. Like, you're unstoppable, and you approach that thing and you get it done. You go through the whole house. You're like, boom, I'm the queen of my kingdom. And then the other day you're like, ugh, I have to do this. It's terrible. And it takes you all day long to do one task, and you're just grumpy about it all day.
if you were here for our last session last week, where we talked about hormone cycles, you'll also realize that, of course, our hormones like play into that. And if you missed that episode, I would highly recommend that you go back and do it. We still have the charts up right here. We're staring at them. That definitely plays a role. But when we learn here's what I learned. It doesn't matter where I am in my cycle, right? If I learned how to manage my energy, meaning knowing that sometimes I have lower energy than other times, I can still be productive with the energy I have. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Plus, what we're going to share today is specific strategies for reviving, rejuvenating, refueling your energy so that wherever you are on the scale, and again, sometimes you're going to be up here. And so when you rejuvenate, like, you're going to be rocking it. Sometimes the energy is going to be lower, but if you use these strategies, you're going to be able to raise that more. So you still have more energy than you would otherwise, right? Instead of just like, it's either all or nothing, right? That's how it used to be for me. It was either like I had the energy or I didn't. And there was nothing I could do about it. And so if I just didn't have it, then I was in trouble, or I just couldn't get more done. But when I learned how to manage my energy, now I'm able to get tons done. I mean, really, that is the key to everything I've been able to accomplish, which, I mean, I feel like I have accomplished a lot. And that's because I've learned how to manage energy, not time. All right. So let's start
So we're gonna protect and recharge.
Yeah.
What we're talking about today. Protecting your energy and recharging.
Exactly. So first, though, I want you to just take a minute and think over your last week. Like, that's the perfect way, and think on a scale of 1 to 10, how energized do you regularly feel?
And throw in the chat. Everyone throw in the chat.
Yeah. Just like literally the first number that comes to your mind practically.
Yeah.
Your question?
Yes, I will repeat it. So just think over the last week, and on average, your average day on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you rate your energy
So
level?
so 1 being like you're just barely conscious,
Yeah,
10 being like you're hardly touching the ground as you're skipping through life.
good. 7?
Good. So 7, 8, 7, fantastic. 4, 7, 5, 8.
Good.
Good, fantastic. Love it. Thank you for getting in there. And again, and I would like to invite you to do this regularly. Like, hey, where am I at? Knowing where you are in your cycle. It's a 28-day cycle. And so
Yeah.
don't compare your high week to your low week and be like, "Oh, this is terrible." Compare, week 1 to week 1. Compare week 2 to week 2, week 3 to week 3
Yeah,
throughout the year.
this is it. Would like sincerely be so interested in if we did the same thing in 2 weeks, where the numbers would be. And again, not this isn't any sort of judgment. I'm just saying I know myself, and after everything we talked about last week with the hormonal cycle, I would not be surprised if some of the 7 and 8s are like, oh yeah, this past week it was like a 4 or 5. I know that's
Yep,
for me.
because it
That's
fluctuates.
what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that is, of course, very important to take into consideration. And having that awareness, like I talked about last time, it changed everything for me because I began to realize, oh, it's not me. It's not, there's something wrong with me. It's just my hormones. And I told you guys that I was a hormone denier. I literally did believe that it had no effect on me. But when I began to figure it out and learn it, I was like, oh, wait, actually, it does. What? It does. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. And once I began to understand that, then I didn't feel bad if this week I was a 4, right? I just thought, okay, I'm a 4 this week. What can I do to maybe make it a 5 or a 6 instead? Right? Rather than like, how do I get back to an 8? Well, I'll be an 8 in 2 weeks, right? So,
I do want to throw in here for everybody.
well, wait, and let me add to that. But then also, I can also know that when I'm an 8 normally, with these strategies, I can be like a 9 or a 10.
That's where I was going to go.
Yeah, sorry.
So with what we're going to talk about today, if you'll just lean into these, they're simple strategies that actually make your life easier. So we're not adding more to your plate. We're not making it harder. We're giving you tools for more energy. And when you figure this out, even those of you who are high energy, like those of you who are like, and I've been high energy for years, when you get this stuff dialed in, you like it's this new level. You're like, I didn't even know this was possible. I didn't know I could feel this good. I didn't know I could have this kind of clarity. It's crazy powerful and super important.